Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen, all in crypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another jam-packed daily market update. We are going to address the sell-off this Monday in the cryptocurrency markets to kick things off. We're going to talk about ding-dongs getting liquidated. Why people are still trying to leverage trade crypto is beyond me. I have watched some of the greatest technical minds I have came across not do so well in regards to that arena. So when the average individual thinks they can partake in it, it's almost a certain way of losing money. And actually, the past 24 hours has been a great testimony to that, with $1.6 billion worth of liquidations taking place. You can thank those influencers that gave you that referral link that they profit from every time you get liquidated for that. You guys that watch me hopefully will be staying away from leverage. You'll make more than enough money just sitting and holding and actually investing in the cryptocurrency space. That's my opinion. Of course, we still do have September to contend with. What we're really going to be focusing on in this one is what's coming out of the ECB, the European Central Bank, and what Christine Lagarde is saying. And what we're seeing is what we were expecting in regards to this arms race, as it were, towards the cryptocurrency markets. With every technology, each country has a responsibility to adopt it and to be a leader in it, just like perhaps the space race. Whether you do or don't believe we went to the moon is beyond the scope of this video, and I'll reserve my opinion. Just to throw that in there on Monday morning, why not? But every country has a responsibility when it comes to a technology to be relevant in it, to maintain kind of global dominance. And if you look at America, one reason America's the great superpower that it is due to its technology companies. It's one reason that you didn't see much pushback in regards to countries when it comes to tariffs, is because it would be very hard to do that with America without completely penalizing your own citizens. If you think about what the preferred phone in Europe is, or the UK, it's an iPhone. What services do, what search engines do, so on and so forth. It's all America. And the ECB and Europe are actually pushing back on America's grab for control over the distributed ledger technology space. And they are going to have been trialing public distributed ledgers to do this, which is huge. It's another one that bites the dust in regards to nations, superpowers, Europe, America, China, Russia. Everybody's looking at this technology and looking to embrace it. And we're at that point where that's actually going to take place, and public distributed ledgers play a vital role in all of this. So we've got some pretty interesting news from the ECB in regards to them agreeing a roadmap on Friday for the digital euro. Also, Christine Lagarde basically said the quiet part out loud, and is looking to replace Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Alipay that are controlled by American and Chinese companies, and essentially replace them with their own thing that is likely going to run on public distributed ledgers. We will look at sort of crypto inflows. We are continuing to see inflows, and of course talk about some price action. Just stick to the plan that we lay out. If you want to become a patron, now's the perfect time. Go and watch yesterday's video. That's the first thing you need to do. We overlay our macro kind of theory on what markets are going to do, and show you an undeniable amount of evidence in regards to why we believe, or things that lead us to believe, the markets are going to have a sensational time ahead of them. I think this is a new bull. And crypto is going to be the beta to the sort of TradFi markets in that, meaning it's going to do very well. Let's address the sell-off that we've seen. It is September. September is typically the worst performing month for the cryptocurrency space. Thus far, this has not been the case. In fact, over the past 2 years, it's not been the case. However, it is a turbulent month for a variety of reasons, and we are still seeing that. And the problem that you have with crypto, Bitcoin only down 2%, something like Hedera down a whopping 7%, XRP 5%, Chainlink 7%. The reason you have this kind of over-exaggerated price action is due to ding-dongs thinking that they can trade leverage. What gave you the right? Who told you that? That you were essentially able to do that successfully? Because the fact of the matter is, and we're so harsh on people as a result, or because we don't want them getting caught in the trap that is using leverage when it comes to trading crypto. I have watched the best technical minds I've ever came across not fare very well in that arena. And these guys have been doing it for years in terms of trading. They have far more ability and a proven track record when it comes to trading against the average retail investor. And the reason that they often don't do so well is because of the volatility that the cryptocurrency market often has. And when you introduce an already volatile market with leverage, you do 3x leverage, you know, or 4x or 5x. I see some people actually propagating to their followers that they are successful crypto traders with, you know, I see some people putting 50, 70x leverage trades on. These people are, the words I don't really want to say. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so please, I hope you guys didn't get caught on the $1.68 now billion worth of liquidations, 1.6 of those to the long side. Really what we've seen over the past 24 hours is just a flush out. You will recover this, guys. It won't take long. The macro picture, I believe, is a very, very clear one. And we will sort of round that up towards the end of the video. Let's talk about what's taking place in Europe. Now, we know that America are zealously adopting blockchain technology to propagate the dollar globally. This is an arms race as it relates to crypto that's taking place. And they want to be a superpower for a reason, America, and that's their agenda, because they know the kind of power that that's going to give them. Do you think Europe is going to stand by idly, or should? We had Rob Allen on, and he's working with the Reserve Bank of Australia, and they're using Hedera in their pilot for a CBDC. And one topic that we really spoke about was just how important it is for nations to essentially, certainly as far as monetary sovereignty is concerned, adopt this technology and innovate and use it to innovate so that they can actually stay relevant in the monetary game. You know, the dollar is looking to take over. Look at Bolivia, look at some of these other countries where it's already doing that. And there needs to be a pushback. And on Friday, EU ministers reached an agreement on a digital euro roadmap, including the tokens holding mint. The digital euro aims to become an alternative to US-based Visa and MasterCard systems with an electronic wallet. Definitely should have put my phone on silent pre this. I've done even worse. I've given speeches before and had it on. Now, this is interesting because Christine Lagarde was on a talk show, and I want to play you what was actually said on this. She says essentially what the agenda is here. And the agenda is to adopt crypto to do exactly what we've said that nations are going to have to do, and that is stay relevant and to push back and to innovate. And she also talks about if they can do this, you're looking at an economic boom in Europe. That doesn't just apply to Europe, that applies to the world more broadly. And believe me, a lot of Europe needs that right now. This is the thing. This technology, it's not just about, you know, making money. There is an element of that, of course. It's actually about, as far as a nation's concerned or a business is concerned, staying relevant, keeping up with the internet and technology more broadly. And I think that her comments at the end, which we'll look at, are basically what I'm suggesting, and that is that you are going to have an economic boom on the back end, certainly a financial boom on the back end of the adoption of this technology, because it essentially is making things possible that previously weren't. You're going to bring hundreds, potentially of trillions of dollars onto the global economy that previously couldn't get access to it. Whether that's assets, whether that's capital, whatever it may be. And there's something magical taking place. And with all that, there's an opportunity to make money as an investor in the technology that's going to enable it. Let's look at what Christine Lagarde had to say on this talk show. This is pretty much everything that we've been suggesting is coming.
Towards independence.
What does that independence mean?
Okay, what I mean by that is we should not be exclusively focused on what is happening on the other side of the pond. And we should focus on the strength that we have at home and how we can regain a degree of independence that we don't have. And that applies to defense, it applies to trade, of course, it applies to finance. And from my perspective, it applies to the way money moves around Europe. So by that I mean capital markets, which are completely scattered all over Europe and which have to be better organized, more consolidated, converging, and possibly singly supervised. That's one thing. The second thing, which I think is really important for all of us, is to have digital payment under our control. When you think of it at the moment, a lot of our digital payment, when you pay, when you e-commerce or peer-to-peers or you use your card or your phone, you always rely on non-European infrastructure. So I think the controlling
Explain
our digital
that to me,
payment.
because I wasn't aware of this. I presumed we were all...
Whether you use a card
Yeah.
Or whether you use a phone,
Yeah.
typically it goes through Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Alipay. Where are all those coming from? Well, either the US or China. And the whole sort of infrastructure mechanism that allows for the payment, credit and debit, is not
I'm
a
a bit
European
concerned about
solution.
this. I didn't realize this because it means that every time I use my credit card or use my phone, that information about me is leaving the European Union and going to the United States. I thought that was not permitted.
I'm sure they do that, in compliance with European regulations. But yes, that is the point. And we have the assets, we have the opportunities to do that. Think for a second. If we were to remove the internal barriers that we have set for ourselves in Europe, our economic wealth would increase significantly.
And public distributed ledgers, there will be private ones, are going to enable that. Why do you think America doesn't allow for Chinese companies to operate within America, within reason, and vice versa? Why do you think China doesn't allow Google or anything like that? Because of the alliances that we have with America, or that Europe has with America, I should say, people allow things to take place. But with this technology, what there's essentially going to be is a power grab. America's going to use it as a power grab. The UK, hopefully we can get our act together and use it as a power grab. Europe's going to use it as a power grab. Nations are going to use it as a power grab. And actually for smaller nations, this is a chance to become relevant. And I won't mention any names there, but the ECB have been working on this for a hell of a long time. It's for the reasons, and we've been suggesting this, that Christine Lagarde just came out and said as the head of the European Central Bank. This is from July this year. ECB commits to distributed ledger technology settlement plan with dual track strategy. Exploring work on new technologies for wholesale central bank money. This is from the Banque de France. Wholesale central bank digital currencies. They have mentioned Ripple a number of times that they've worked with, and even XRP. Again, Banque de France again shares lessons from 12 wholesale CBDC DLT experiments. This is all the way back in 2023. Just to show you a few I could show you quite literally hundreds of documents showing that within Europe, they are looking to upgrade their payment systems and actually use public distributed ledgers. So people do get frustrated with the day-to-day price action, which is over-exaggerated by ding-dongs trying to leverage trade and trying to chase a quick buck. And that's, you can make money that way, but, not many people do. The bigger picture is the one that you have to focus on. This technology is on a path akin to the internet in regards to how impactful it's going to be in all our lives. Well, this is all documented. We've been looking at it for years. Let's talk about some sort of crypto inflows that we've seen in the prior week. This is volume 252, Digital Asset Fund Flows Reports. Digital asset funds see strong inflows as the Fed cuts rates. We also looked at mortgage demands last week. That was an interesting video. Digital asset investment products saw $1.9 billion of inflows last week, marking a positive response to a hawkish cut by the Fed last week. Yeah, hawkish cut, probably the right thing to suggest here by CoinShares. Bitcoin and Ethereum led with inflows of 977 million and 772 million respectively. And Solana's been killing it. While Solana, 127.3 million, and XRP 69, great number, million, also attracted strong demand. Total AUM hit a year-to-date high of $40.4 billion, putting the market on track to match or slightly exceed last year's $48.6 billion in inflows. Of course, BlackRock leading the charge. I'm wondering. I think we probably are going to get news this year that BlackRock are going to enter more broadly the alt sector in regards to ETFs, and that's going to be a big one or catalyst. We've got great news. We covered it. There's always so much we can cover. It's hard to kind of cram it all in. We covered what essentially the SEC is now permissioning for ETPs as it relates to crypto. Solana, XRP really leading the alt. Sui catching up. Sui's looking good. I think Sui's going to do a bit of a nice run. It's kind of the third altcoin. And obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum really leading the charge, as you would expect. Very interesting. As far as the markets are concerned, guys, when it walks, talks, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Ignore this kind of really nonsensical price action. I don't know if there's anything happening in the sort of macro world. Dollar is red. We'll see how the S&P opens today. And if it opens positively, that might drag the rest of the space up. We have certain positions in the stock market, like in quantum computing, that are 100% up for us since we got into them just a few months ago, and I've got an entire community that can attest that. You want to join that, do become a patron. On that note, guys, I'm going to love and leave you. Always a pleasure. I love spending my Monday mornings with all of you. It's a great way to start the day and get you fired up for the week ahead. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.